Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, and today we're just jumping right into things. It is the last day of the ranked season, I believe, so we'll be switching to some new stuff tomorrow, and our ranking will reset as well. But thank you guys as always for watching Road to Ranked. Really appreciate you guys continuing to come out and support this channel and support the series, so thank you guys. For the first game of today, we're going up against a really interesting team, Toxtricity, which is one of the Pokemon that I really want to feature soon. Sylveon, Milotic, Passimian, Incineroar, and the Ninetales. So, this actually looks like a really good Durant game, honestly. Like, Durant plus Milotic, I'm thinking, might just be able to sweep through here, or even Durant plus Sylveon. The logic behind that is that Durant can give a lot of boosts off to both Milotic and Sylveon. I don't think I want to go the Trick Room route with Gothitelle this game, especially because we have to deal with potential paralysis. And I think Torracat is relatively useless for us in this matchup. So I'm thinking Durant, Milotic, Tyranitar, Sylveon. The question is just in what order I'd want to go with. One pretty consistent lead that you can go with the team like this is Durant Milotic, because the Milotic basically covers for the potential Incineroar. And if you give Milotic even a single boost in this game, it can really just pop off. If we're able to knock out Toxtricity, then Sylveon really sweeps through our opponent's team as well. So just going to lock those in, and let's see how things go. Question of the day, if you haven't seen already, Wolfie and A-Drive are organizing a huge grassroots online tournament this weekend called the Champions Cup. I'll actually be commentating a lot of those matches with A-Drive, but question of the day is, did you manage to sign up for the tournament? If so, are you looking forward to it? Should be a really, really fun time this weekend, and I'm looking forward to being a part of one of the largest tournaments we've really ever had. So, yeah, gonna jump into our first game here, and let's just see how things shake up. Passimian and Milotic against Durant and Milotic, alright. So, this Durant actually has Max Lightning. And Max Lightning actually one-shots opposing Milotics. If you look at the rest of my team, we're not that weak to Milotic. I mean, it's relatively likely Passimian Dynamax even in this position. So we could, let's see, there is nothing on my opponent's team that resists both Steel and Water. So it's a pretty safe play to Max and just like Steel Spike and Max Geyser. But honestly, I mean, Milotic might have Icy Wind, so I kind of want to just snipe it off here with Max Lightning, especially because a lot of players don't even expect the Max Lightning, just go for a Muddy Water. So let's see. We're going to Max. There's not going to be a switch out, which isn't too surprising. The one thing I'm worried about is like Life Orb Milotic with Dynamax here. If it doesn't Dynamax, Max Lightning, I think almost always KOs even Max HP, Max Defense Milotic. And if it's leftovers, then Muddy Water should finish it off from our Milotic. There's a very, very small percent that Max Milotic can survive this. Okay, so Dynamax comes out, no surprise to see that. The thing is, if Passimian maxes, like, it shouldn't be able to KO either of our Pokemon. Unless it gets access to Max Flare. Does it have a fire type attack? I actually don't know about that. That could be a problem. The other problem is that by going for Max Lightning, we do set up terrain, so we can't really yawn things away with the Sylveon. Alright, let's see. No Protect, though, which is a good start. So we'll get the Max Lightning off from the Durant, gonna target into the Milotic, and yeah, we do get the one-hit KO, which is perfect. So if Passimian is going for anything but Max Flare here, this will work out perfectly fine for us turn 1. Because then we could just go for Max Steel Spike the following turn. And it's just Max Knuckle coming out. Okay, that's fine by me. Probably targeting the... Oh, actually targets Durant. It's even better for us, honestly. Max Steel Spike will basically negate the damage, or negate that attack boost, and so do the same amount. Unless we actually get an accuracy drop here, which would actually activate Defiance. So it might have been safer to actually go for an Ice Beam. That damage output, of course, tells me that Passimian is going to be Assault Vested. My opponent's bringing in Incineroar, which is obviously amazing for the Milotic. So this next turn is pretty interesting. I'm actually fine, I think, double protecting here, because I think at this point Milotic is actually just our win condition. By double protecting this turn, I can just go for a Max Steel Spike the next turn to give the Milotic a defense boost. If I'm my opponent, I think I actually would just Flare Blitz. Maybe we don't actually need to go for... The only reason I want to Max Guard is to stall out another turn of Dynamax, because we've got Sylveon in the back. I don't want to switch it in quite yet. So... part of me really does want to just Steel Spike and Muddy Water here, though. I think I'm actually just going to go for it outright. Because I think Incineroar might not bother Fake Outing. And yeah, my opponent doesn't. Okay, nice. I want to get that defense boost. And that's really solid damage against Passimian. Yeah, after competitive Muddy Water, that actually may be in Quick Attack KO range. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. I also want to see who's faster here between all our Pokemon. Max Overgrowth. Oh, interesting. I think we survived that with the defense boost, though. Nice. Okay, so that's good. Yeah, that's exactly why I wanted to go for this Steel Spike. That's actually a really big deal, too, because if my opponent went for that and I protected, then you have Overgrowth the next turn. Muddy Water does double connect as well, and we don't KO, but I'll take that. Okay. I didn't even know Passimian got access to a Grass type attack, though. And he's going to Flare Blitz into Durant. That might just KO itself through Recoil after that. Let's see. I'm not 100% sure. Either way, though, I mean, I'll take that turn, I think. Okay, he hangs on with just a little bit of HP. So, speed order is Passimian, Milotic, the Sylveon. And Milotic's obviously healing back a fair amount from terrain and lefties as well. Okay. I think what we do this next turn is just double protect. Because after the double protect, both my opponent's Pokemon should be in KO range from either a Hyper Voice or Muddy Water. So then at that point, Passimian can only knock out one of two Pokemon. Let's see. This is +1 attack. Grassy terrain is up. We're at +1 defense, +2 special attack. I think I'm fine just double protecting here. Yeah. Passimian won't be able to KO either of us, and then, like I said, the following turn we can just Hyper Voice Muddy Water to KO either. As soon as Passimian faints, then it's going to be a 2v1 with Tyranitar and whatever Pokemon sticks around. Let's see. Now, I think Passimian might opt to go for like a Max Knuckle, but regardless, he's actually going to Steel Spike. That's also fine, targeting Sylveon. So we could have made the really hard read saying, okay, you're going to target my Sylveon down and just actually protected Sylveon and Muddy Watered, but in this position I'd rather double protect because if Milotic gets targeted there, we actually probably just lose the game. And he's going to Darkest Lariat. Yep, okay, that's fine. So we've seen Fighting, Steel Spike, Overgrowth. Passimians often have Rockfall as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see if that were the last attack. I don't think, unfortunately, that's in Quick Attack KO range after the Grassy Terrain healing. But like I said, now I can just go for Muddy Water Hyper Voice, which should just pick up a double KO. I guess I'm actually not 100% confident on KOing the Incineroar here, which could be scary. But this is fine, especially because we know it's Assault Vested. We should just KO at least the Passimian, which is the main threat because we have Tyranitar in the back. So, I'll have to see you. I think if I'm Passimian, ooh, it actually goes for the Milotic target. Okay, I'm more than happy with that because I think Sylveon's better here for us. Because with Milotic, we could miss Muddy Water, but I also think that's probably the correct play. Ooh, he's faster with Incineroar. I don't think this KOs, right? Okay, good. I actually obviously should have known it was faster because it went before us last turn in terms of Grassy Terrain healing, but okay, good. So that was pretty scary. Like, I think the reason you might be considered targeting Sylveon there is because then you could go for the Darkest Lariat into Milotic and then also ignore that defense boost. And then you can also, you know, I can miss Muddy Water on either Pokemon, but now we get the Throat Spray. It's 2v1 with Sylveon. Healing back a little bit each turn. Or I guess now the Tyranitar should negate it. But I think Tyranitar Sylveon beats anything my opponent has in the back. It's going to be Sylveon, actually. Okay. This is potentially scary, but I think what we do here is we just protect our Sylveon and Rock Slide. You can't KO the Tyranitar unless you go for Hyper Voice, which would activate our weakness policy. This will also tell me who Sylveon is faster here. I'm just going to protect that. It gives me an extra turn of Sandstorm onto the opposing Sylveon as well. Also keep Sylveon around for spread damage so that you do less damage with Hyper Voice. My opponent's actually just going for the Hyper Voice outright, so as long as we don't miss Rock Slide, that should be game over. That does over 50% though, which is kind of scary. So if we miss this, we could actually still lose. Let's see. Rock Slide is able to connect though. Okay, that should be the game then. Yeah, +2 single target Rock Slide. Very nice. So I knew as long as we KO'd the Passimian, that would be huge. And Durant's tech of the Max Lightning comes up clutch here. A lot of, you know, obviously it's used to be able to like snipe a Pokemon like Milotic away. And a lot of times people just don't expect that immediately. So worked out really, really well for us in this matchup. And, you know, we could have gone for the Steel Spike immediately with the Durant, but I didn't want to go for that because I wanted to one, get Milotic out of the way, because Milotic is like still a pretty annoying Pokemon, especially with the access to like Icy Wink, even Scald Burn us, so I want to just KO it immediately. And two, I didn't think Pessimian was that much of a threat, although having Max Overgrowth made it a lot scarier than it should have been. So yeah, didn't even know I got access to Seed Bomb, but now I do. Alright, next opponent of the day. Very scary Sun team that we've seen variants of throughout the course of this season. So, Tyranitar obviously looks amazing here, bar the Conkeldurr. So, basically the goal is, let's protect Tyranitar as well, as much as possible. Durant's actually an interesting Pokemon here. We don't have Max Rockfall, though, which is not good against Charizard. I have to also really worry about Sleep Powder. I think the Trapian with Gothitelle is really interesting because it means you have to either lead Sun or you don't get Sun out immediately, right? Part of me is actually thinking, why not just lead Gothitelle and Tyranitar? That beats almost everything. And in the back, I'm thinking, we definitely want Sylveon for the Conkeldurr matchup here. Maybe Milotic. There's only one. I mean, Milotic does have Ice Beam Muddy Water, and if the sand is up, it actually does a fair amount of damage. I think Durant, if I'm not maxing it, I'm definitely not bringing. I think Torracat could make some sense here. And I think win or lose in this game, I'm going to try to bring Torracat in the next one, since I wanted to feature it a little bit more, but Torracat was really good in the games we brought it in. I think there is some value to even bringing Torracat Tyranitar in this game, honestly. I guess because your Charizard can't one-shot our Tyranitar. But what I would fear is, I guess, switching into Torkoal and setting up the Sun. But it looks like it is going to be just Torkoal and Charizard outright. Wow, okay, nice lead by my opponent. Mainly because you win the weather war here. But this is interesting because then who do you target, right? Like, I don't think Solar Power Max Overgrowth KOs Tyranitar when we Dynamax. Now that I even activate our Regents policy, but I think Conkeldurr is definitely in the back. So I think we just try to knock out the Charizard turn 1, so I'm just going to go for a Fake Out. I'm going to max here and just go for a Max Rockfall. Even if Tyranitar's only job is to KO Charizard in this game, I honestly think it might be worth it. Because we know our opponent's trapped in right now with Torkoal. One really interesting thing you could actually do here is Max Torkoal. But, like, Max Torkoal and go for just a Fire-type attack, Max Overgrowth into Tyranitar. I actually think that could make sense. So, I gambled on my opponent not leading the Torkoal outright, and if I led... Oh god, okay, Charizard's not maxing, which means it might actually be Max Torkoal. Which I think would actually be really smart. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, I should have considered that option a little bit more before turn 1. If I'm predicting Max Torkoal, then we Fake Out Charizard. We probably double up on Charizard just to snipe it away turn 1. Okay, Torkoal doesn't max though, so that's good. I'll take that then. This is still going to hurt, obviously, but it's going to just be Overheat into Gothitelle, which I honestly think is fine. Now, this means my opponent gets a free switch in, but it also means I get a free switch in and the Sun isn't up, right? So if Sun isn't up, you're not pressuring me nearly as much. Yeah, because I think Charizard's one of the biggest threats on that team, despite us having a Tyranitar. Maybe I respected it too much. But now I get to bring in Sylveon. And Sylveon can pressure with just the yawn on anything that comes in. Torkoal wasn't really that big of a threat. I was worried about Solar Beam, Dynamax Torkoal, and then Max Overgrowth into Tyranitar, which seems crazy, but could actually work. Okay. We could even bring in Milotic, but I think I like Sylveon a little bit more here because I think it's likely Conkeldurr comes in, and if Conkeldurr does come in, I would like to yawn. I also don't think a Max Knuckle from Conkeldurr KOs Tyranitar. It shouldn't, because it's less damage output than a close combat, and you need close combat to one-shot Dynamax Tyranitar from Conkeldurr. But I don't think that's Conkeldurr coming in. No, it's actually Venusaur. Okay. Well, with Venusaur coming in, I mean, you would think he's going to want to max, but I think we definitely have to yawn the Venusaur right now. Yeah, I'm actually going to double up. Okay, here's actually, I think what my opponent could go for is you max Torkoal, and you go for a, like, Fire into Sylveon, Sleep Powder into Tyranitar. It's definitely risky, though. So, yeah. If I actually had Torracat here, just blind Sleep Powders. Okay. Torkoal doesn't go for a max, though, which means we'll get the yawn off against Venusaur, which is pretty good. Yeah, that Sleep Powder missed, the game was just instantly over. But I think that was my opponent's only option at this point anyway, so understandable. He's going to go for Overheat. Double Overheat, okay. I don't think this KOs. Oh, that doesn't even come close. Sylveon is so bulky, man. Okay. It's wider Torkoal, too. Very interesting. Oh, a Jetpack! Oh! Okay. And I'm sure Conkeldurr comes in here, right? I wasn't expecting a Jetpack, although I've actually seen that on ladder before. It's Rotom, it's not Conkeldurr. Wow. That's interesting. But that's actually really bad for us, because now what Rotom can do, you can just Dynamax and Max Lightning to prevent the Yawn from working onto Sylveon. Which kind of sucks. Now we should beat the Rotom. I mean, Tyranitar is a really good matchup against all my opponent's Pokemon, so now it's a question of can I wake up fast enough. I think I'm going to protect Sylveon here. And I think I have to respect... no, if you... What I'm worried about is the Nasty Plot, basically, from Rotom. So for that reason, I'm actually going to target the Rotom. Because... yeah, if Max Lightning goes up, okay, yeah, he switches out. Like, what I'm worried about is Rotom Nasty Plots here. For that reason, actually, I probably should have attacked with Sylveon. With Hyper Voice. Maybe. But if Nasty Plot comes out... okay, it's just going to max, though. So, I guess I'll take that. Ooh, but I guess if you max Geyser here, you just win the Weather War, don't you? Yeah. No, you won't knock anything out here, so never mind. Not actually necessarily. I just wanted to make sure that thing did not Nasty Plot, because that really would have messed us up. Once you Nasty Plot, because our Dynamax is ending soon, too. So I'm going to protect. Let's see. Yep, there's Max Lightning into Sylveon, okay. Now the problem obviously is that we have Milotic as the last one, which obviously isn't great. So the question is, can we wake up fast enough right now with Tyranitar? This is turn 2. It's Life Orb Tom 2, which is good to confirm. Tyranitar wakes up though, which is huge, nice. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Venusaur is kind of an inconsistent Pokemon to use. This Rockfall is going to do a fair amount of damage too, not bad. Okay. Now, Milotic being our last one really doesn't help us too much, but I still don't regret bringing it that much. Okay. So right now, Torkoal's obviously not doing very much damage. Part of me wants to switch the Sylveon out into the Milotic. I mean, Milotic is more useful. I don't know how much... I don't think, like, Rock Slide or Crunch and Quick Attack... Well, with Life Orb damage, actually, it probably does KO the Rotom. It's going to be a really close finish, because I think you max Geyser into Sylveon here. But if my opponent does just max Lightning... The reason you max Geyser is so that you have the last turn of Rain to work with. But I think I'm actually going to just try to KO Rotom here with Crunch and Quick Attack. Life Orb, Crunch, Quick Attack, and Sand hopefully is enough to knock out the Rotom. Okay, Torkoal switches out, which isn't surprising. But I guess if I lose the Sylveon here, then... maybe I should have switched out. Okay, it did go for Max Geyser, yeah. Ah, that's frustrating. I think we could have switched out into Milotic there. But he targets to... Oh, that just KOs us. Wow, I did not think that would KO. I actually want to do the damage calc for that, because I really wasn't expecting Life Orb Tom to KO, even with Sand being up. Or sorry, Rain not being up. That's obviously going to be the game then. I did not know that calc. But good to... I want to say that's a roll. Like, I'd be shocked if that's a guaranteed chance to KO, because we're, like, very bulky Tyranitar, obviously. So let's see. Modest. Life Orb. Max Geyser. That's actually surprisingly powerful. It's a 68.8% chance to one-hit KO if anyone's wondering about that roll, because I really was curious. Depends on if it's modest or timid. If it is timid, then that is significantly reduced, and it's only a 12.5% chance of one-hit KOing. So, I don't really regret my play there too much, I think. It was pretty dicey, for sure, but let's see. Now you just max Lightning. I guess we just double protect, at least. But I don't think we can win this now. Yeah, the lead was good for my opponent. The Eject Pack totally caught me off guard. That was a super interesting tech. Life Orb Tom here did just more damage than expected against our Tyranitar. I honestly didn't think Max Geyser even had a chance to KO, so now I know that calc. I guess knowing that calculation, what I would have done differently then is perhaps gamble and switch Tyranitar out, but at that point it's just a mind game on whoever calls it correctly wins the game. Because if I switch my Tyranitar into Milotic and get that Hyper Voice off, or even yawn the road, probably Hyper Voice, then I think we're in a pretty good spot. But now you can just, yeah, sweep through with these Pokemon, so there is not very much we can do. Very well played by my opponent. I think the lead was pretty smart, and I would suspect that my opponent was double overheating into Gothitelle to make sure that Trick Room didn't go up. And my 4 Brotom does give this team some trouble. It's not the most problematic thing, but it's just a combination of a bunch of surprises from my opponent's team, including the Eject Pack. Life Orb just doing so much damage there, too. You know, kind of caught me off guard. So it's good to know that calc because I didn't know it before this game. So yeah, I think this next game will be our very last game of this season and with this team as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, I'll be streaming a lot more on Twitch, so catch me at Cybertron VGC hopefully in the upcoming days. And as always, if you guys enjoyed Road to Rank, please share support by leaving a like. I'd appreciate it. Alright, game 3. Dusclops, Dragapult, so definitely have to worry about some self-weakness policy activation right now. It's our last game, so I really wanted to bring Torracat. And Torracat could make some sense for Overheat into Ferrothorn, but it's not great to Parting Shot a Dragapult with Clear Body. And we also have to worry about activating Competitive on the Milotic. So it's not that great, unfortunately. I'm actually thinking of maybe leading Sylveon Tyranitar here. And the reason being is because we can just self-quick attack to activate our weakness policy immediately. So you have a bunch of ways to activate your weakness policy. Torracat's one of them, but Sylveon's the other one. And in the back, who do I want? I'm not the biggest fan, once again, of Gothitelle here, so I think we could just go Milotic. Even Milotic Torracat is somewhat interesting. I don't know, Durant has a really decent matchup here in terms of damage, but it also just struggles if, 1, it's intimidated, 2, if it's not Dynamax. I just really don't feel comfortable Dynamaxing Durant in a best of 1 when I don't know the Dragapult set, and when I can get intimidated by Incineroar. So maybe we actually keep Torracat in the back solely for Overheat for Ferrothorn, because otherwise Ferrothorn actually gives us a fair amount of trouble. So I'm actually going to lock in. We'll see how it goes. So Torracat does come out in our last game. I don't know. I think like Gothitelle here doesn't really do much by trapping in Pokemon like Ferrothorn or Milotic, because those are like pretty slow and bulky. It's not like... I guess specifically if we were able to trap those in, Tyranitar could get a couple of Max Knuckles off and sweep, but I think Dragapult probably comes out into this matchup, and like that alone makes Gothitelle a lot less viable, I think. Even though this is of the Kasib Berry, like, I normally like to bring Gothitelle when I play with this team if I want to like ensure Trick Room goes up, and in this case I'm not really looking for Trick Room to go up necessarily. Okay. This is actually not bad, I think, because we can just self-quick attack turn 1 immediately. We can do a lot of things here. We definitely have options right now. I'm leaning towards, however, Quick Attack and Max Darkness. The problem with that is... Yeah, the problem with Max Darkness is that it gives Milotic a competitive boost. Milotic might even max here, honestly. But I'm also worried about Will-O-Wisp from Dusclops. I mean, maybe Hyper Voice, and I mean, that doesn't really make much of a difference. I was thinking maybe Hyper Voice and Max Darkness, but once again, we run into the problem of Max Darkness lowering Milotic special defense, but we could scout out turn 1, even go for a Yawn onto Milotic, and protect. I actually kind of like that. I don't think we necessarily need to push the tempo immediately turn 1. I mean, this probably means Trick Room goes up though, right? Which I guess is problematic. I actually protect him. I mean, if we literally just quick attack Max Darkness, that's probably GG. That's frustrating. I walked into that one. I mean, my logic was like, I'm not that worried about Trick Room. We'll also see who's faster here. Okay, both of their Pokemon are faster. You know I've got Yawn though, right? So that obviously puts on some pressure. That's frustrating though. I think I'm going to switch into my Milotic and once again Yawn the opposing Milotic. Like I could see that maxing and Max Geysering, so I just want to put on pressure against that slot. But yeah, I think if we just had gone for Quick Attack Max Darkness, that probably would have just been GG turn 1. But, and I guess that's a pretty safe play to do because, I mean, what I was worried about was Milotic outspeeding Tyranitar. You max Geyser the Tyranitar and then max Geyser again next turn after getting the boosts, but even that probably doesn't KO us. Dusclops switches out, okay. Which makes me think it doesn't have Will-O-Wisp. It might be... No, it's actually Incineroar coming in. It's a shame Dusclops switched in first there, but, I mean, I get a free switch into my Milotic, which I'd say is still pretty good, and now the question is, who do you even Dynamax? Because you've brought 3 of your 4 Pokemon. I'm hoping Torracat's the last one. Oh, sorry, Ferrothorn's the last one, so that Torracat can deal with it. And they're actually going to max the Milotic. Ooh, does it have Max Lightning? Or Max Fairy? To stop my Yawn? Because otherwise, this is pretty free for us. Yeah, the only reason I didn't want to max Darkness immediately was because of the threat of Milotic, but perhaps... Well, I was going to say, we could have gambled and just quick attack targeted Milotic turn 1, but of course, that doesn't work out if Milotic protects. And there's Max Geyser. This shouldn't KO us. It's probably Life Orb Milotic. A lot of the Milotics on these teams are. But yeah, Sylveon's a tank and takes that pretty well. And now we have the Dynamax advantage, which is pretty good. So I'll take that. It is Life Orb, as I said. Yep. And we get Yawn off. Okay. We could even max our Milotic. I feel like you wouldn't go for that unless you had Max Lightning, honestly. So I'm kind of surprised by that. But I think it's fine to just double protect, even if you do have Max Lightning, whatever. I don't even, like, I'm assuming Milotic gets access to Electric type attack, but I'm honestly not sure about that. Either way, yawning a Dynamax Pokemon's always good, because it either forces them to switch out, use a move that prevents sleep, or just fall asleep. And all of those are decent options. Although in this case, if it actually has Max Lightning, that could be a problem. I just haven't seen that ever on a Milotic. I don't think it does get access to something to set up terrain right now, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. So the nice thing about getting our Milotic in this position right now is, like, Incineroar, should it switch out, like, it's never going to want to come back in, basically, right? But, yeah, man, if we actually just quick attack Max Darkness turn 1, I don't even see how our opponent beats us. And they're actually going to switch out the Incineroar going against what I said, but I think Ferrothorn's coming in here as it does. Yeah, okay. So, can Milotic prevent getting put to sleep here? Let's see. We're about to learn. I'm about to learn because I actually have no idea and I didn't think it did. No, it doesn't. Okay. Well, I'll take that then. It's another turn of Dynamax gone. Not bad. Yep. And now Milotic falls asleep, which is perfect. Okay, we still have to be careful about this. We have to play this smartly. Because I think we have the advantage in this game for sure. There's only 2 turns of Trick Room left, I believe. Yep. I see my opponent targeting Sylveon with the Ferrothorn. Switching into Torracat's a little risky here because it does give the competitive boost, but I think we can switch into Torracat and Tyranitar and just go from there. Maybe we don't even need to switch in, actually. We'll just switch in Tyranitar here. And Muddy Water. I don't like that, actually, because I think Milotic is a win con against everything bar the Ferrothorn, because I know my opponent has Incineroar in the back. I switch in Tyranitar because I think it's likely you go for a super effective attack into the Sylveon, but also I guess this is risky because the Gyro Ball still does a fair amount of damage. And there's not much point in... Yeah, okay, it is going to be Gyro Ball. Yeah, that's a lot of damage, actually. I think that was actually a really bad misplay then. I didn't think it'd be as much. The double switch, like I said, like that I wanted to go for probably would have been better. Okay, but it's the last turn of Dynamax. Now Milotic's Dynamax also ends, which is good. We actually give Milotic a competitive boost, though, by decreasing its accuracy. So, yeah, that wasn't super smart. The better play would have been, I think, just to switch into Torracat. And that's actually, it works out fine because then we have Fake Out Pressure the following turn anyway. Yeah. Okay, so our Weakness Policy gets activated. Gyro Ball obviously does a fair amount, but now we can max Tyranitar and switch out into Torracat. And it's the last turn of Trick Room. Yeah, I want to max Darkness here into Milotic and switch out into Torracat. Torracat was actually essential here, but I should have switched a little bit better there. I mean, I guess the problem here is if Milotic actually underspeeds the Tyranitar and it wakes up. It gets a 1-turn wake up and hits a Muddy Water despite low accuracy. Like, I activated competitive and I totally did not need to give it all these boosts basically in this game. But if Milotic stays asleep, regardless, I've already misplayed this game, so I'll talk about that later on because I think I mean, we could have won the game literally on turn 1. And now that I don't regret too much because I didn't know Dusclops' moveset. I felt even if Trick Room goes up, it's not the end of the world. And the fact we were able to get Milotic to max was good, but I think we needed to just get Tyranitar in for free instead of take all this unnecessary damage. Okay, but the Seed Bomb goes into Milotic, okay. Or sorry, yeah, into the Milotic slot, which is now Torracat. And Milotic did underspeed us, so that was very risky on my end. Now, obviously, the odds of it waking up and hitting an attack there are relatively slim after getting the accuracy drop, but like I said, I think I had a very good team matchup in this game, and I did not need to make it risky like I did in this game, so kind of poorly played on my end, in my opinion. That being said, I think we should just win now. We still have 2 turns of Dynamax on a weakness policy. Tyranitar like can one-shot both Incineroar and Dusclops, and Torracat can actually just pressure the Ferrothorn with an overheat. But like I said, if I switch in Tyranitar, I get crit. That's obviously really risky. He's actually bringing out the Dusclops, okay. So Dusclops is interesting because you could switch that out, I guess, into Incineroar, but I think it's fine to just overheat Ferrothorn max darkness here. Like, Ally Switch might come out, but then Ferrothorn's still getting hit by a +2 max darkness, so yeah, okay. The switch in was here for the bait, but because we're not running Flare Blitz and we run Overheat, I think we probably KO Ferrothorn anyway, unless it's Assault Vest, which there's a slight chance it is. But Milotic should win against Incineroar in the late game. No Protect, Overheat does connect, so that's all good. See how much damage it does. Beautiful. Nice! Feels very fitting that in our last game with Torracat, it's able to get a one-hit KO on something. And this is great, obviously, because now this next turn, my opponent can't really do much. But once again, this game was pretty risky. Like, that Muddy Water was really dumb. Oh my, that's so much damage from Max Darkness. And I think there are a bunch of different options we could have gone for that turn. But what we didn't want to do was give Milotic a single competitive boost, because all we need to do is stall out Trick Room. So I think I pushed the tempo a little bit too fast when Trick Room was still up, and it created a possibility where I could have lost. Whereas even though Trick Room went up this game and I didn't go for that quick attack play turn 1, I think I still would have been in a pretty solid spot. So slightly risky once again on my end. So I do regret that, but it is what it is. I'm just going to max Rockfall here then and go for a parting shot. Double up onto the Tyranitar. Obviously, Dusclops can't win in this position. And this is why I thought Tyranitar was so good against my opponent's entire team. So we managed to rack up with a win here in the last game. And overall, just, yeah. If we went for Quick Attack, Max Darkness turn 1, like, once again, the problem is that we do give Milotic a competitive boost immediately, and we're behind a turn of Dynamax. So the first turn, I don't regret that much. Although we did have faster Yawn anyway, but then you would probably bring in Incineroar, fake out Max Geyser. That being said, Tyranitar was faster than the Milotic, so would have put on more pressure anyway. Yeah. So, turn 1 I don't regret. The main turn I regret this turn was the turn when I switched in Tyranitar and Muddy Water. There was just, I mean, I was cleverly able to get my weakness policy activated, but I took way too much damage. If I'm going to do that, I probably should even switch in the Torracat as well for the Milotic slot so then I can fake out the next turn. So I think that's the one thing I would have done slightly different. That would have been fine. But by switching Tyranitar, I also risk getting critted. If I crit and Tyranitar goes down, I lose the game 100%. So I don't know. I think it's probably better to just sack the Sylveon, get the free switch into Tyranitar the following turn. We could even switch Milotic into Torracat while sacking the Sylveon, so then I have Torracat next to Tyranitar. Trick Room is the last turn of Trick Room, so then we can fake out Milotic, Dynamax the Tyranitar, max Knuckle into Ferrothorn, and then at that point I'm pretty confident Tyranitar should win the game. I didn't know the speed interaction also between Tyranitar and Milotic, but given that my opponent prioritized setting up Trick Room in front of Tyranitar, it's likely to assume that the Milotic should underspeed the Tyranitar in that position. So, you know, that wasn't like super surprising. So it's one of the games where like I won, but you know, I don't feel great about that win, even though like the odds are still more in my favor. Like after that Muddy Water. The thing is that if Milotic wakes up and hits a Muddy Water, assuming it's running Muddy Water, it might be Scald. If it gets a one-turn wake up and hits an attack after the accuracy drop, we just lose, right? So there's no reason to risk it when at that point we've already stalled out our opponent's Dynamax and our main win condition is just sweeping through with Tyranitar, which at that point we already knew our opponent's Pokemon, so it could very easily clean through everything. So I think that was a slight misplay on my end, and it could have cost me a lot, honestly. So goes to show that even one small play can make a really, really big difference. Either way, though, we end our time with this team with the win, so that concludes it for, I believe, this season of Battle Stadium. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching Road to Rank. We'll be back tomorrow. Should be a reset, I think. I assume we'll be able to play immediately tomorrow, but I guess we'll find out in a couple of hours. And thanks for watching, as always, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Catch me on Twitch at Cybertron VGC. Got a lot of streams coming up in the future. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, peace.